This video brought to you by ChinoHills.com, where community, commerce, and communication come together.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you, Tea Party Movement, for showing up on a Thursday night in Chino Hills. I'm sure there's other things on your mind, but this is America. This is what America's supposed to be. It's not sitting on the couch and watching Fox News all the time and saying, come on, we got to go. No, this is going. This is making it happen. I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I didn't grow up in California. For those back in Philly, you were a member. Member parade. Very good. People ask me, when did you become a conservative or a Republican? Well, it happened during the Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan debates. And my father, who was a staunch Union Democrat, pointed out to me during that debate, he said, I want you to listen to this man, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is not talking as a Democrat or as a Republican, but as an American. And what he's saying is, this is not about short-term solutions. This is about ripping off the Band-Aids of the U.S. economy, giving people the chance, unleashing the American spirit, allowing American entrepreneurship to grow and to prosper. Jimmy Carter talked about malaise. Reagan talked about optimism. Where is the optimism today?
Not here.
Is it in the toilet? I don't believe that it is, completely. But we can get it back. It's right there for us to take back. You're starting with it tonight. You're going to be doing it again in June, and then in November. Everybody keeps on talking about November, but I'm focusing in on June. I didn't plan on running against Congressman Gary Miller, but when it mattered most, in 2008, I was shocked by what I saw. I asked many people, are you for the bailouts, the TARP bailouts? The question is, are you for them?
No!
Why not?
Because they don't work.
Because they're short-term solutions. When we should have allowed those banks to fail, where were we? We weren't there.
Right.
What about cash for clunkers? Should we have supported short-term solutions that bailed out the GM and Chrysler and the automotive business?
Negative.
Absolutely not. But what got us into this mess in the first place? It was housing. Housing got us into this mess. And there was plenty of votes in 2003, 2005, and 2007. Those bills in those 3 years, 03, 05, and 07, weakened the standards of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA. That caused banks to be forced into lending to people that could otherwise never be able to pay those loans back, because they wanted them to have the American dream. But what has happened is it's cost us the American dream. We're the ones now paying for the mistakes that have happened. Well, I decided to run in June because my congressman voted for all those things. And I didn't know that, and yet I supported him. Well, we need better leadership. It is not enough to say, let's take our country back. We need to take our party back. I keep on saying the Tea Party movement is not because they're unhappy necessarily with the Democratic Party. It's because they were unhappy with the Republican Party.
That's right.
When we were in power in the 2000 to 2006, what happened? We spent like drunken sailors. And then now we're standing back saying, wait a minute. We're supposed to be standing here for the American people and fighting for lower government. Fiscal discipline. Well, how do you have fiscal discipline when you double the size of government in the 6 years the Republicans were in power? That's why Obama's in power, because the American people stood up and said, this is not what our country is about. And if the Republicans can't do it, let's give the Democrats a chance. And we've seen what's happened because of that. Now, what am I going to do when I get into Congress? Well, we have got to get people back to work again. I have two businesses here in Chino, Retire America Corporation and Chino Executive Offices. Chino Executive Offices I formed in about a year ago, a little over a year ago, in the worst time of the recession. We were looking for bigger office space just to rent. We decided to buy a building at the worst of times. We decided to finance it ourselves because we couldn't get financing from the banks. Remember those bailouts were supposed to provide capital to businesses? We couldn't get capital. So we financed it ourselves. And everybody told us, you cannot form this business in this economic time. You're going to fail. Well, a year later, we are sold out. We have 17 businesses that are now part of that executive office's operation. That is America. I am not worried. I am not fearful of failure. What we should be fearful of is mediocrity. Mediocrity is what America despises. I heard Obama say the other day, we're not really, not so much that we're not proud of being American, but in terms of us having the greatest military might on the earth, sometimes we wish we didn't have it. No, we're supposed to have it. We're supposed to be the leader. That's what America's about, is to lead.
Like it or not.
Now, how are we going to get people back to work? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to cut corporate taxes, at least by half. If we can cut corporate taxes by 50%, think about what's going to happen. Corporations are going to look at that as an environment to do business again in America. It's business environment, not government environment. Government is not going to provide jobs. But I don't really hear Republicans talking about how we're going to get jobs. Cut the corporate taxes. We had the opportunity in the 10 years that we were running Congress. We should be doing it right now. We can't do it until we get the Democrats out. But what are we going to do when we get in there? When I get in there, that's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing I'm going to do, Obama's talking about raising capital gains and dividends from 15 to 20%. We should be lowering capital gains from 15% down to 5%. There's trillions of dollars that are sitting in money markets around the world wanting to get it invested. They'd rather get 0% interest right now than to risk it into the American markets. If you lower capital gains, what do? You create an environment for capital and investment. The United States becomes the place to do business. When you start having that capital come in, you don't have to worry about banks lending money. The capital markets will be there with tons and tons of money to lend out to businesses, and that's how businesses will grow. And as businesses grow, what happens? They begin to hire. But right now, they're afraid of taking any kind of risk. And those companies that want to take risk, they're being told the same thing that we were told. Sorry, we don't have money for you. We can't lend you money because it's too risky. Well, that's not America. America is about taking risks, and we need to take those risks back. The flat tax, absolutely. And I am a big supporter of the flat tax. It's where we need to go. Now, for the last 16 years, I've lived in Chino and Chino Hills. 8 years in Chino Hills and 8 years in Chino. I love this area. We have 3 little daughters. My wife, Lisa, and I have a daughter named Charlie. She's 4 years old. Macy, who's 6 years old, and Delaney, who just turned 9 a few days ago. It is about their future. It is not about my future. It is about their future. It is about your kids' future and your grandchildren's future. It is not enough to want to hope that their American dream will be there for them. It is time that we take back the opportunity for the American dream and give it to them the way our parents did for us. Right. I thank you for your time, and I hope you give me the opportunity to serve in Washington. Thank you very much. That's right.